now that I've got your attention, welcome, everyone. You don't know me, but you're going to get to know me. You're going to like it. You're going to love it. You're going to keep coming back. Because I'm just she. I'm just her. Anyways, welcome to my reactions channel. My name is Vea, or Vey, as some people pronounce it. Don't matter to me. Hey, however you pronounce it is how you pronounce it. I'm not offended. Anyways, aka your dreadhead queen, aka your bestie, and aka just a girl trying to make out the ponies. Anyways, I'm an attention seeker. Attention seeker. And today we'll be watching a video called The 6 Most Disturbing Pieces of Lost Media. I did not find this. It was found for me. So I'm just as lost in the media as you guys, you know. But that's the fun of it, you know. So, anyways, as I'll always recite in the beginning of my videos, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. The goal is 500. Technically 1,000, but we're gonna be humble over here. Because I'm grateful for 500. I'm even grateful for 200. I'm grateful for all. Just keep coming back. Anyways, on to the video.
Unsolved Mysteries Lost Episode.
Ah, hell.
On July 9th, 2024, one Reddit user made an extremely unsettling post on the RBI, or the Reddit Bureau of Investigation subreddit, which read,
Bro, it's already starting off. Okay.
"Help finding a TV episode to possibly solve a murder. I've spent years and hours through Google trying to locate this, and was advised you guys might be able to help. Trying to find what rerun episode of Unsolved Mysteries aired on a specific date/location that I'm convinced had a story of my ex-husband murdering a couple. I was at a hotel in Bakersfield, California on August 17 to..."
Of course, it gotta be in Cali. 1, 2. Let me back up a little bit because look, I don't know if this has jump scares, but I don't personally like jump scares. I don't like. I'll be like, we trying to over here, like, but whatever. I just don't like this whole ominous feeling, but we gonna continue.
2000, and at 11 p.m. they had a rerun of Unsolved Mysteries on the TV. I have no idea what station would have played it. I'm watching them talk about a situation where a smooth-talking stranger gets himself invited into their home, etc. I jokingly kept thinking to myself, yeah, I know someone smooth like that. This person ended up murdering the couple. Fast forward to the end and they show a sketch. I literally sat up in the bed. It was my ex. Yes, he would have been capable of that, and I believe he would have been driving through that area around that time, angry that I just left him. The user also mentioned that they had already contacted the show but hadn't received any answers from them. And despite years of looking online, they haven't found any clues. Now, my first assumption when I came across this post was that it was nothing more than a hoax created by the user. After all, the idea of someone stumbling upon their ex-husband's involvement in a murder during a late-night rerun of a TV show feels almost too cinematic. Maybe they had a flair for dramatics, or maybe they were just a fan of lost media. So they crafted their own dark tale with a personal twist that would leave the readers yearning for an update that would never come. However, the more I looked into the case, the less plausible this theory seemed. For starters, I looked through their posts and comment history on Reddit and didn't find a particular interest in lost media, horror, or anything of that nature. The account was also created back in 2018, so it wasn't created recently to
Okay, so you invite a smooth talking stranger in your house. Smooth talking stranger.
fabricate this bizarre story. More importantly, the details given in the post seem a bit too specific to be something the original poster just made up. I went through old TV schedule guides from around that time, and sure enough, a rerun of Unsolved Mysteries did air on the live channel on the 17th of August 2000 at around 8 p.m. But if the Reddit user is telling the truth, how did an entire episode of such a popular and well-documented TV show just vanish into thin air? Especially since the whole show is now available on YouTube, and yet there's no sign of an episode matching their description.
Paid off.
The closest case I found was from a 1994 episode about the disappearance of Jonathan Francia. The investigators working on this case were able to create a sketch of the potential suspect, and it was a man with a long face and a cowboy hat. This did match the description the Reddit user gave in a comment about the sketch they saw on TV. However, this is where the similarities ended between the two cases. To make matters even more puzzling, another person claimed to remember something similar in a comment reading, "I have a vague recollection of this episode as well. I'm going to go through the episodes I've watched on Unsolved Mysteries on YouTube and see if I recognize it." Unfortunately, despite rewatching all of the available episodes, they didn't find anything about the mysterious case either. Though, it's entirely possible that Unsolved Mysteries changed parts of their episode after its rerun in August of 2000. As Redditor Rob Frey mentions in their comment, "The reason why it might be so hard to find and why you can't just watch old episodes to find it is the segment may have been changed from what was originally aired. Unsolved Mysteries used to edit segments as new information came forward, especially after a case was officially solved. If they caught the guy who did it, they may have removed a lot of the information from the case that made you think it was your ex. Especially information that was completely speculative or a red herring. As an example, I remember they had a really good segment about a murder in a family who owned a U-Haul, and it went into a lot of the family infighting and drama, and there was at least an implication that a family member was most likely to blame. When they caught the guy and it turned out to be a random breaking and entering, they cut all of the family drama stuff out of the segment and added an update that the case was solved. The only potential flaw in this theory..."
Look, I know I said I wanted something crazy, like for my first video, but like, this goes beyond insane, honestly. Like, this is no coincidence, yo. Like, bro, if somebody come popping through that door, I'm gonna try to be like a freaking cartoon character and run through this wall. Like, bro, honestly.
Is that if Unsolved Mysteries changed that episode because the case was quote-unquote solved, the Reddit user would have likely learned about their ex getting arrested, but that didn't happen. From what I've seen, the most likely theory is that maybe they saw the sketch on some other crime show and are simply misremembering it as a part of the Unsolved Mysteries episode after so many years. This would explain why no one was able to find the hint, despite scouring every episode of the show from its conception. However, if this turns out to be true, it would also make searching for what they saw on TV that night exponentially more difficult. Unfortunately, unless someone finds concrete evidence, we have no way of confirming or disproving any of these theories. That being said, if this lost media is ever uncovered by people on the internet, it could help authorities solve a decades-old crime and catch the suspect. Easily available explosive. During the 2016 Silicon Valley...
I'm gonna hear him out. Cause maybe it's not what I'm thinking, but like, we just gonna hear him out.
Valley Comic-Con, one of the hosts of Mythbusters, Adam Savage, was doing a panel answering questions from fans of the show. Near the end of the panel, someone asked him about the biggest disaster he's experienced on Mythbusters.
What is the biggest disaster that you've ever had behind the scenes filming Mythbusters?
Now, this fan was likely expecting something tame, like a crew member spilling something, or one of the devices they built breaking before they could film the episode, something of that nature. However, no one could have anticipated the answer Adam gave for this simple question.
Wondering how specific to get. The biggest disaster we had was Cary Grant and Tori were investigating a easily available material and its supposed explosive properties. What they found out was so explosive that we destroyed the footage and agreed never to say what we learned.
The material they discovered was so explosive and dangerous that they had to report it to DARPA, which is a research and development agency of the United States Department of Defense. Adam also quickly...
Bro, where do you even find something like this, like accidentally. Like, there's so many people that just be like wandering around. Oh, this looks interesting. This looks nice. You ain't. I'm gonna keep this. Don't even know what it is. What, like, whether it's good, bad, don't do anything. It's like, bro, you don't know what it is. That could be radioactive for all you know. Like, you just, like, what the? You just vow to never speak of it. Not gonna cap. I'll probably act like I never seen it before in my life. Not even gonna lie. Like, I would have basically dropped off the face of the earth. Basically, one day you see Vaya, next day you don't. Not even next day. Within the next hour of knowing that, you won't see Vaya nowhere. Y'all ain't finna be asking me questions. I don't know anything. I got dementia.
Moved on to the next question, likely in an effort to avoid giving any hints about what this dangerous material could be. Following that panel, he refused to utter a single word about the last episode or the material that made them destroy the footage. That silence was held until the 20th of November 2023 when he uploaded a Q&A video on his YouTube channel titled, "These Mythbusters stories got scrapped due to danger." The first question in this video was someone asking about footage that was destroyed outside of Adam's control. At first, he gave a predictable answer, explaining how network decisions like cutting scenes to make room for advertisements had led to some lost content. But before moving on to the next question, he brought up the commonly available explosive again. And while he was careful not to drop any hints about what the material could be, he did go into more detail about why they decided to erase the footage from existence.
We were looking at the purported explosive power of a commonly available.
Pay attention. Pay attention. I know it's kind of slow now, but pay attention. We in this together. Together. Locked in. You ain't going nowhere. Gonna stay right here and watch this.
Available material, and what we found
Like a
was
professor.
something so energetic
Mr. Thinker.
when we executed it that we agreed to not talk about what we learned. Yeah, it was common enough, easy.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but like, what's going on with his hairline? Like it look like he got like tufts in the front, but then it's all pushed back. What's and then those glasses look too small for his face. It's barely. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I genuinely wanted to know. I really did. We're gonna continue going on about the mystery,
enough to implement, easy enough to execute, that we were like, the world will not benefit from this knowledge. This is the reason you never saw a silencer episode from Mythbusters. Is a potato a good silencer? A pillow? A 2-liter bottle of soda? These are all really interesting questions. And silencers are fascinating technologically. But silenced rounds are not a benefit to humanity.
This makes total sense considering Mythbusters had tens of millions of viewers from around the world. The show built its reputation on demystifying myths and delivering facts, no matter how surprising or dangerous they might be. By withholding the episode, it may seem like they went against their own character. Some might even argue they had a responsibility to release the episode, both for the sake of scientific transparency and to educate the public about potential risks. Educating people about the potential dangers of a common material could have sparked important conversations about safety and regulation, potentially preventing accidents born out of ignorance. But here's the other side that's hard to ignore. Mythbusters wasn't just a science show, it was also entertainment. Publishing a step-by-step guide on how to weaponize an easily available material would have been, at best, irresponsible and, at worst, catastrophic. The world isn't short on people who might misuse such information, and the stakes were simply too high to ignore. So, the team's decision to shelve the episode was the responsible thing to do. That said, I did some digging online, and speculation about what this mysterious explosive could be is all over the place. Some claim that it's simply flour. For those who don't know, non-compacted flour is extremely flammable and can easily create a sizable explosion upon combustion. Another chemical that came up in multiple theories was tannerite. It's a binary explosive that is commonly used for long-range weapons practice. It's helpful for marking targets since it detonates visibly on impact. More importantly, it's widely available online. Someone can easily buy tannerite online for relatively cheap without any permit or verification. However, here's the problem with both of these theories. Neither material creates an explosive dangerous enough to justify the drastic steps the Mythbusters team took. For instance, while a tannerite explosion is certainly impressive, it's not nearly dangerous enough to warrant such a drastic response from the
I go cap. There are states that I'm genuinely like afraid of because of shit I've heard and seen of this. Like this. There's like, I never want to see you, bro. Never. Cause it's just not it. It's just not it.
The Mythbusters team. While researching the topic, I came across a chemical known as triacetone triperoxide, which perfectly fits with what we know about the mystery chemical. For starters, both of the materials required to make triacetone triperoxide are found in most homes. Acetone, which is used as paint thinner and nail polish remover, and peroxide, which is commonly used as a bleaching agent for white laundry. More importantly, even tiny amounts of triacetone triperoxide can do unimaginable damage. Ultimately, unless someone somewhere has a secret copy of that episode and releases it on the internet, we'll never know for sure. And given how Adam described the danger of this material, it's just one of those rare cases where it's honestly better for the video to remain lost media.
Exactly. Keep it lost. For good. Bro. I don't know how old this video is. Keep it lost for good, bro. Like, nobody needs to find that. There's too many dangerous people. Or really, actually, there's too many dumb people who just stumble around these things and they just, common sense is poof. And, they just, start playing with it and then kaboom. And it's like, no. Like, I can't feel sorry because you should have left it alone. It is bad. I do. But you should have left it alone. Okay.
Jay Leno Blade Incident. On April 14th, 2022, an anonymous user on 4chan's TV board mentioned a disturbing incident they remembered from an old episode of The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. They stated, "One time Jay Leno had a magician on his show and he was doing some sort of cut the lady in half trick. He starts to cut and the lady starts yelling for him to stop like she was actually getting cut or about to get cut, and they start helping her out. I have never seen or heard anything since and never been able to find the clip." The episode in question aired on the 21st of June 2001, and as the story goes, one of the guests on that episode was Arsenio Hall, who was going to perform a classic magic trick of cutting a person in half. However, while he was performing the trick, something went horribly wrong. He accidentally stabbed the woman who was volunteering for the trick. A notable thing about this episode was that Leno wanted to show solidarity with the California power outages. So he hosted his show in a set that was only illuminated by scattered candles and handheld flashlights given to the audience. Maybe the lack of visibility caused Arsenio to make a mistake and harm the woman. Unfortunately, a vast majority of old Tonight Show episodes barely exist in archives and therefore are considered lost media. The June 21st episode is among those lost to time. So there's no way for me to directly verify this incident. But I did find enough clues to piece together what might have happened, and there are 3 distinct possibilities.
Okay. Obviously, stuff like that, you can really drop a rating. So, if you got the money, do it. Try to make it go away, because it's like, it wasn't my fault. We don't know what happened. Make it go away. It's like, did you even check on the lady? Just wondering, Did you even check on her? But, It's so funny. I've only heard of that host on like Family Guy. Like, never watched any shows like in real life. Never seen like, you know, YouTube clips. None of that. Just Family Guy in like what, one episode. Some of them characters, I'll be like, bro, these people can't be real. And well, prove me wrong every time. Every time.
First is that such an incident never actually happened and the 4chan poster was making it all up. However, this possibility doesn't hold up because I found old forum posts from 2001 where people were actively discussing the incident online after watching it. Like this person named Dan, whose post gives more details about what exactly went down. Did anyone else watch The Tonight Show with Jay Leno Monday night? It was a repeat, the one where they turned out all the lights in the studio and had a blackout. Anyways, so Arsenio Hall was the guest, and he was going to do a magic trick where he was going to cut a woman in half. So the woman is lying in the box, and he's trying to shove the blade through, and all of a sudden the woman starts screaming and yelling, "It cut me," and like immediately they cut to a commercial. I was like, what? It has to be a joke. So then when they came back from commercial, Jay seemed flustered, and they didn't mention anything else about the trick for the rest of the night. Did anyone else see this? Does anyone know anything about what happened with this woman? It was so freaky. I also found someone on Reddit who also remembers the incident and mentioned it in the comments of a post discussing the incident, stating, "Holy, I thought I dreamed that episode. I've been wondering what happened to that lady for 20 years.
We all been wondering.
So a woman did get stabbed on the Jay Leno show, or at least that's what it looked like to the audience. Which brings us to the second possibility. The woman did get hurt and the incident was later covered up by the network to avoid backlash from the public. However, as much as some people would like to believe this is nothing more than a conspiracy theory. Because, as it turns out, the Jay Leno show is not live, it's taped ahead of time. So if they wanted to cover it up, they would have edited that whole thing out, long before the episode ever saw the light of day. Even knowing this, some claim that the showrunners simply forgot to edit this section out and only realized their mistake when it was too late, which is a bit of a stretch. Think of it this way, Jay Leno's show was getting upwards of 7 million viewers in 2001. So even if the network tried to bury the whole thing later, why didn't any of these millions of viewers cause any backlash? From what I've seen, the most plausible theory is that the incident did happen, but it was all part of a skit. And the people who thought it was somehow real were simply not paying enough attention or just didn't realize the dry humor of the scene. This would explain why there was no uproar from the public. And as for the episode becoming lost media, that wasn't a deliberate cover-up, but just a side effect of the pre-YouTube era when preserving TV episodes wasn't a priority. But who knows, if the speculation gains enough momentum, Jay Leno, Arsenio Hall, or someone else from the show's production team might come forward with the truth. Until then, all we have are educated guesses to piece together the mystery. Sharon Davis's unsolved...
What y'all think? What y'all think? Cause not gonna care. I really want to know what happened to the lady. I really do. Like, did y'all check on her? Paid her off? Like, I mean, obviously you got rid of what happened, and it's like we came back from commercial. You just kind of acted like it was never a magic trick, and basically, if you don't talk about it, you forget it, or like make it seem like you're delusional. But it's like, okay, like what?
Episode. Sharon Eugene Davis was a 51-year-old school teacher living in Dallas, Texas. She lived with her two...
They done got the damn school teacher. They done got the school teacher. A black school teacher. Come on, man.
Two children, Autumn and Ronnie, and their husband of 21 years, Ron Davis, who she married back in 1980. Unfortunately, her relationship with Ron wasn't ideal. Just 5 years after their marriage in 1985, Sharon filed for divorce while describing her husband as controlling and ill-tempered.
Wow, so she's gone due to domestic violence. Okay. Love that. We love that story. She looked nice.
She withdrew cash from their mutual account and was planning to move to LA with her two children. However, soon after filing for divorce, she mysteriously changed her mind and returned to living with Ron. Fast forward to June 11, 2001, Sharon once again found the courage to file for divorce. And this time she was prepared to go through with the decision at any cost. She was planning to move out of her house in the 1900 block of Elderleaf Drive, all while her attorney was trying to obtain a temporary restraining order against Ron, her husband. However, just as everything seemed to be falling into place, tragedy struck. On June 13, 2001, at around 7 a.m., Sharon dropped her daughter at Rapid Transit Park and Ride Station, 2 miles from their home, and went on her way. She was scheduled to attend a training session at Stemmons Elementary, but she never arrived. Even after her children asked their father to report their mother missing on the evening of June 13, 2001, he refused to contact the authorities until a day later, starting a citywide search for Sharon. And after 4 days of searching, investigators finally found her car abandoned in a parking lot near the Southwest Mall in Oak Cliff. The car had a broken window and was also wiped clean of fingerprints. And while all of this was highly suspicious, the lack of evidence meant that Sharon's disappearance was filed as a missing person case. Ron and her 2 children were called in for interviews multiple times, but the investigators weren't able to find any leads from either of them. Sharon's mysterious disappearance 2 days after her filing for divorce also made Ron the prime suspect in many people's eyes. However, the complete lack of evidence prevented authorities from treating him as the potential perpetrator.
I mean, you tell me y'all couldn't find a hair follicle from his mustache, beard, or whatever. Maybe he missed a fingerprint or something. Like, come on, man. Something underneath the car, steering wheel, something. Nothing. Okay.
When asked about it, this is what the lead officer had to say. We've had a lot of people ask us if he, Ron Davis, is a suspect. This is a missing person case. There are no suspects at this time. We don't have any criminal evidence, although we fear foul play has occurred. Right now, Mr. Davis is a witness, an uncooperative witness. And after months without any leads, Sharon's case caught the attention of the producer of Unsolved Mysteries, who wanted to air an episode on her case. They produced the segment in mid to late 2001, and it was scheduled for broadcast sometime in spring of 2002. The last thing they needed was an interview from Ron. However, when the producers approached him, he denied their request and was quite stern about it. But when they wanted to air the segment without Ron's interview, he objected again and sent an accusatory letter to the producers telling them not to air the segment on Sharon. And that's where the lost media aspect of this story comes into play. The showrunners complied with Ron's request/threat and scraped the whole thing. And as far as I'm aware—
No, because why don't you want to tell the story? I'm not understanding why you want to sweep this underneath the rug, bro. Like, this fit y'all whole topic, bro. Like, sad.
Where the footage has never seen the light of day. It's entirely possible that a witness could have come forward with critical information after seeing Sharon's story on TV. However, Ron's refusal closed the door on any potential leads that could have changed the course of the investigation. This obviously put a lot more attention on Ron. He was even given nicknames like the most guilty non-guilty man. But it's been 22 years without any updates to Sharon's case. Game in the sand. Game in the—
Child, her bones done become sand by now. Like, they ain't finna find nothing unless a dog just happened to dig up like a bone in the area. Like, come on, man. That's just sad.
in the Sand is the name of a shocking short film by the German director Werner Herzog. If you've ever heard of him, you'll know he's famous for pushing boundaries, and not always in a good way. His sets are very well known for being chaotic, and there have even been injuries and deaths during his productions. And apparently he's been this way since the very beginning. You see, Game in the Sand was the second film he ever created back in 1964. However, after completing the film, Werner was so horrified by the footage that he decided to never release it to the public. The only thing we know about the short movie is that it featured 2 children, a rooster, and a cardboard box. It was also filmed in a sandy area, hence the name, and according to Werner, things, quote, got out of hand during shooting. The premise of the movie is also a complete mystery. The only thing Werner has talked about is a scene where the rooster was buried in sand up to its neck. Everything else we know about the film comes from speculation, and given Werner's reputation, people online have come up with some pretty wild theories over the years. Some think the rooster suffocated after being buried, forcing the children to watch it slowly die. Others suggest the kids might have killed the rooster in a brutal way, either on their own or under Werner's instructions. This could explain why it was buried in the first place. Some have also speculated the opposite. Maybe the rooster injured the children with its sharp beak or claws, and Werner captured that on film. The problem with these theories, however, is that none of this comes even close to the stuff that's been released under Werner's other productions, like deaths being shown. What could have gone so wrong during the filming of Game in the Sand that was worse than this? Of course, there's the possibility that Game in the Sand isn't real at all, just something Werner made up to add an air of mystery or create hype for his future projects. Unfortunately, we'll probably never know the truth.
Nah, bro. What y'all do to the rooster? What y'all do to him? There ain't no way. You're not gonna make me believe this, bro. That y'all just, for whatever reason, just buried the rooster. Ground in sand with only his head sticking up for it to slowly die. Like I'm not understanding. Did the rooster have a story to tell? I'm confused. What did the rooster do? Like what did they do? Say funny. This sounds very disturbing, but it's like, it is what it is. It's in the title, so I can't even say nothing.
The identities of the children involved were never made public, and the film's composer, Uwe Brandner, someone who might have been able to shed some light on what really happened, passed away in 2018.
Damn.
So even if the short film is real, I highly doubt Werner would have a change of heart 60 years later and release it to the public.
Nope.
The Skyway Man. Ormer Locklear was an American daredevil stunt pilot who became popular in the early 20th century after doing the craziest plane stunt of his time. After footage of his stunt went viral across the country, Ormer was hired for a role in a pseudo-documentary film about stunt flights called The Skyway Man in April of 1920. Put simply, the film was like a collection of the craziest stunts Ormer could successfully pull off in a plane. Filming for the movie began on June 11, 1920 in the LA and San Francisco area. However, the stunts featured in the film were quite tough, including a church steeple being toppled by Locklear's aircraft and an aircraft-to-train transfer, both of which nearly ended in disaster. But despite the many close calls, Ormer and the other stunt pilots remained unharmed. It was soon time to record the last stunt of the film, which was relatively safe compared to what Ormer had done before. It was going to be a simple spin move that was filmed during the day with special camera filters to make it look like the whole thing was performed at night. However, when Ormer learned that the studio wasn't going to extend his contract beyond one film, he demanded to perform the stunt at night, likely as a desperate attempt to impress the producers. Unfortunately, this is where his luck ran out. On the 2nd of August 1920, Ormer and his longtime flying partner Milton Elliott took flight at night. To make the plane visible to the camera in the dark, the production crew illuminated it with massive arc lights. However, these lights were a bit too bright, so the crew was going to turn them off after the stunts just so Ormer wouldn't be blinded and he could land safely. Maybe it was negligence or simply bad luck, but the crew forgot to turn off the lights. And to everyone's horror,
Of course somebody forgets to turn off the lights. Of course, but like, why would you do this at night, bro? Why, bro? You made it hard for yourself, bro. You really did. And then you mean to tell me not one single person thought to turn off that light? Not one person. Nah, bro. Somebody did that on purpose. You can't tell me otherwise. Somebody did that on purpose.
the plane crashed into the ground, killing both Ormer and Milton on impact. However, unlike today, where such an accident would shut down even the biggest film productions, at the time, Ormer's death became the selling point of the film. People flocked to the theater to see the breathtaking stunts, and more importantly, the uncut death footage of the lead stuntman. Unfortunately, the film has since been lost to time. We do have some evidence which proves that it was real, like a memorial for Ormer and Milton in the November 1920 issue of Screenland magazine. I also found a short review for the film from the same magazine issue, which reads, Ormer Locklear's Last Picture, directed by James Hogan. Louise Lovely, now a Fox star, furnishes delightful support. Full of thrills and mid-air stunts, the best picture we've had. The Fox company is giving 10% of the profits of this picture to the families of Locklear and Elliot, who are killed while filming the final scene. As for the film itself, it's become lost media in the truest sense of the word. Over the last century, there have been multiple attempts to locate a copy. All have been unsuccessful.
Duh. Look, it's the original. You really can't replicate the original. Like, there's always a little twig, a little tweak. And it's just like, it's not the same. No, it will never be the same. Necessarily, I don't know what I just watched, but I mean, it was a lot. Not gonna cap. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I wouldn't recommend watching something like this. Unless you're like really them type of people that's like y'all bedtime stories is crime, like mystery, like books or something. Or like you watch true crime on TV before you go to sleep. Like, this is ideal for y'all, but like, of course, there's always them they really want to dismiss it instead of just actually, I don't know, deal with it. Like, I still want to know what happened to the one lady who was about to get cut. Well, who did get cut in the little magic trick. And, of course, they don't find the black woman's body. Of course they don't. I'm not even surprised on that one. And the prime suspect, because y'all don't have enough evidence, I'm like, bro, if y'all really look, y'all could have found something. In my opinion, like, y'all could have found something. Help, make the kids help. I'm just saying, like, that we don't even know what that explosive thing, like, which is the chemical in it is legal in New York. Made my eye twitch. Ugh. Anyways, hope y'all liked the video. It was something. I don't even know how to describe it, but it was something. And I'm still lost. But, I mean, it's in the title. Lost Media, so. Anyways, if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe again. Comment which part of the video did you like. Not gonna cap. I didn't like any. But if you liked my video, go ahead, you know, and comment for me. I'm just flabbergasted, but like now I gotta watch something to get my mind off of that. But like, y'all, just be safe.